So let's talk about success. Is it all just a lucky break, or is it the result of a deliberate, meticulous design? Now, this isn't just some philosophical question to kick around. It's a debate that gets right to the heart of ambition, and it shapes how we decide to build our lives and, of course, our companies.
Let me put it another way. Is success basically a lottery ticket you happen to win, a complete stroke of random fortune? Or is it more like a machine that you build piece by piece, where every single part is planned and placed with a purpose to get a predictable result? The conventional wisdom leans really heavily towards luck. I mean, when you hear Warren Buffett, maybe the greatest investor of all time, say his incredible start was because he won the ovarian lottery, that's a pretty powerful statement. And it's not just him. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, says something similar, talking about an incredible planetary alignment. He puts luck and good timing right up there on the same level as brains. And it's not just the entrepreneurs themselves. You've got best-selling author Malcolm Gladwell, a guy who literally studies success for a living, and he concludes it's just a patchwork of lucky breaks. So it really seems like this idea that success is mostly out of our hands is just baked into our culture. But then you get this, a completely different view, a sharp, provocative, almost defiant statement from Jack Dorsey, the founder of both Twitter and Square. He just says it flat out. Success is never accidental. And this is where the real conflict is. What if all that conventional wisdom is just wrong? So who should you believe? Well, arguing about the past is one thing, but the real question is about your future. Can you actually control it? The answer to that really depends on your worldview, and we can map it out with a pretty simple but really powerful framework. Okay, so this framework maps our view of the future on two axes. First, are you an optimist or a pessimist? And second, do you see the future as something definite that you can know and plan for, or is it indefinite and totally random? This gives us four totally distinct mindsets that basically define entire cultures. All right, let's start with the first one, definite optimism. This is the belief that the future will be better, but not by magic. It'll be better because you have a concrete plan to make it so. This was the mindset that built the modern world. I mean, just think about the sheer audacity of projects like the Golden Gate Bridge, the Interstate Highway System, or the Apollo program. There was even this wild idea called the Reber Plan to completely re-engineer the San Francisco Bay. People took these massive visions seriously because they believed in a future they could actually design. Okay, next up we have definite pessimism. In this view, the future is also knowable, but it looks bleak. So the logical thing to do isn't to build something new, but to prepare for the decline you know is coming. The best modern example of this is China. While we see all this explosive growth, from their perspective, it's a race against time. They're carrying out a very definite plan. Copy what works, build furiously, and save for a difficult future they believe is on its way. They take the future deadly seriously. Our third quadrant is indefinite pessimism. You can think of this as the worldview of a slacker with low expectations. The future looks bad, you have no idea what to do about it, so you just drift. This really feels like the state of a lot of modern Europe, which seems to be in this kind of slow-motion crisis. The strategy is just to react, improvise, and kick the can down the road. And hey, when you can't really plan for the future, you might as well enjoy the present, which helps explain that famous vacation mania. And that brings us to the final box, and honestly, this is the most important one for understanding our world today, indefinite optimism. This is the belief that the future will get better, but without any specific reason why or any plan for how. This has really been the dominant mindset in America since the 1980s. And this mindset, it shapes everything. Instead of making big, bold plans, we're taught to hedge our bets, keep your options open, collect diverse experiences, build a well-rounded resume, all to prepare for a future that we treat as completely random and impossible to predict. You see this play out perfectly in finance. Money just kind of circulates. A founder sells a company, the money goes to a bank, the bank diversifies it to investors who buy a big portfolio of stocks. The money keeps moving, sure, but at no point in that chain does anyone have a concrete plan to use it to build something totally new in the real world. This indefinite way of thinking can actually stall progress. In IT, we use definite design. We tell computers exactly what to do, and progress accelerates. That's Moore's law. But in biotech, the model is often indefinite discovery, just kind of randomly searching for what might work. And the result? Progress is actually slowed way down, which is described by Eroom's law. That's Moore's spelled backwards. So this leads to a really fundamental, almost terrifying question. If everyone is just hedging and diversifying and reacting, how can things possibly get better? What's the engine of progress in a world without a plan? Well, the popular answer we hear all the time is this sort of pseudo-Darwinism, applying the idea of evolution to business. We're told to build a lean startup, create a minimum viable product, and just iterate our way to success. The hidden assumption is that progress doesn't actually need a designer. But what if that's completely wrong? What if, when you're creating something truly new from scratch, intelligent design isn't just one option? What if it's the only thing that actually works? This is the whole case for returning to a definite, intelligent design. Steve Jobs is the ultimate example here. His genius wasn't just making pretty products. No, it was the design of the entire business. He had a definite, multi-year plan. The iPod wasn't just a music player. It was step one in a carefully constructed plan for a post-PC world. See, having a definite vision gives you an incredible amount of conviction. Back in 2006, Yahoo offered $1 billion for Facebook, and Mark Zuckerberg told his board it was just a formality, that they obviously weren't going to sell. Why? Because Yahoo saw a social network. Zuckerberg saw a definite future he was building, and for that, $1 billion was nothing. And this right here is the crucial insight. If you operate with a clear, definite plan in a world that believes everything is just random chance, you will consistently be undervalued. You'll be misunderstood. But that gap, the gap between perception and reality, that's exactly where the greatest opportunity lies. So the final question is really for you. Are you going to accept the tyranny of chance, or are you going to reject it? The future can be something you design, not just something that happens to you. And it all starts with the belief that you are the architect, not just a passenger. After all, you are not a lottery ticket.